talking about guys who could kill you. Anyone see Koji Igarashi's picture lately? He's looking a lot like Dracula. And there's probably a good reason for that. As we predicted, and it's not just us, everyone predicted, Koji Igarashi left Konami and is definitely doing a Kickstarter much in the vein of Keiji Inafune. Keiji Inafune? Yeah, whatever. Someone will correct me. There's always someone in there who wants to correct me. And it looks great. It's called Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. It's going to be a return to two-dimensional, exploratory, very dark horror-themed, action. Yeah. And I couldn't be more excited. What's interesting is that it's not just first of all, it got funded immediately.
It's 8 days in, it's almost at $2.5 million. That's insane.
Yeah. Much like the ukulele Kickstarter 2 weeks prior or whatever it was, this got funded for, I believe, all of its stretch goals in one day. I think he's overshooting a little bit, perhaps, with the promise of PS4, Xbox One, and all the other physical releases, just because that's very tough to do. But if anyone could do it, it would be someone with the clout that he has. Sure. I think it's an interesting story, too. These people are infested with these crystals, and the crystallization starts to take you over. The concept art looks beautiful. I'm sure it will probably actually transfer over very well to the finished project. One, because people are doing a lot of hand-drawn art in games now, and two, I just believe he's got the chops and the team to do it.
A lot of partners involved. You have Fangamer. You have veterans of the industry.
Yes, you've got Michiru. Fuck her last name. Basically, you've got the composer of the composer of some of the best Castlevania soundtracks on board doing this. This is absolutely a Castlevania game in everything but name, and I'm very, very stoked for it.
Again, we're not saying we predict this because we're smart. We predict this
because it's obvious.
Because it's obvious and common sense to do this.
Yeah.
Just like with Mighty Number 9, these games, there is an audience for these games. It's obvious there's an audience for these games. People are clamoring for these games.
And there's really...
And people just have to... And these companies just have to give them... Even if it's in a weird way, if Capcom and Konami started doing their own private Kickstarters, people wouldn't care. If Konami came out and said, okay, listen, folks, we have a huge organization here. We have a lot of overhead. It just doesn't make any fiscal sense for us to make a game like this that might make a couple $1 million profit. It might. Or maybe it'll make $1 million. It's not worth our time. However, if we pre-fund it, we will do it. And I can't picture most consumers would be upset if they still got what they want. So if Capcom, after they canceled 2 Mega Man games within like 6 months, if they came out with Kickstarters, I think the fans would be overjoyed by the opportunity to still have it there. And as long as it was presented in a way as understanding that this is the way the business world is, we need this money up front, we need a certain profit margin in order to do this. Whether or not it's feasible, I don't know. But the fact of the matter is, I'm not saying Konami and Capcom are kicking themselves over these Kickstarters. But maybe they're not. Maybe they're like, well, okay, this is still small potatoes anyway. But it's still just good business. I don't care if you spin off your company to a smaller one to do these games. But just make it happen.
To a company like Konami right now, the money that this is pulling in is not small. This is a huge fuck you to Konami. This is basically like, this is what I told you they wanted, and you didn't listen, and now here's the response when I'm doing it on my own.
Okay, if that's the case, then how come there hasn't been any Mega Man developments after the Mighty Number 9 successful Kickstarter? There hasn't been any whisper of anything, though. Is it not worth Capcom's time or maybe Konami?
It's probably not worth Capcom's time or Konami, because these are businesses that are focusing on different things that they know will guarantee. Capcom is riding on Street Fighter V to make them a shitload of money. That and Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter prints them money, and I'm not going to lie. Even though my opinion of Capcom has fallen, Monster Hunter is still a fantastic game.
Sure.
And as far as Konami is concerned, fuck Konami. They're dead. They're moving on to mobile, whatever, and they're not doing anything else. That's why you don't see any further developments, because they're further developments without him. You have to understand the Castlevania, Lord of Shadow, and whatever the awful sequel was. I mean, those were made without this guy. those were made by a different team, and they didn't do well. So that's why Konami's backing off. That's why Capcom backs off.
I wonder if they would want to try, maybe not for this game, but for if they do another one, try to at least get the license for the rights, to Simon Belmont or the name back, at least to do that.
I always wondered that about Mighty Number 9, if he would ever go for if he made enough money, if he would try to buy the rights back for Mega Man.
I don't think Capcom would give it up. It probably wouldn't be worth it for them.
Not until they're having a fire sale.
A hemorrhage like Konami is going to be having.
Right.
Sure. So no, this is great news. I had a small opportunity to be involved in this in a very tangential way that I was sort of honored to be given the opportunity, but it didn't make any sense. That's all I want to say about it. I'm not saying you would have saw me in the game, but it was just a little promo opportunity.
Oh, and I do want to say it's kind of interesting that they've made a game of the Kickstarter as well. There's achievements they're unlocking based on things like Kickstarter backers, how many Twitter followers they get. Retweets,
I see the screen there. Yeah,
fan art, and those will unlock different items and rewards and stuff like that that'll be added into the game.
What a great way to market it.
So they're gaming the Kickstarter for the game, and I think I've never seen anything like that on a Kickstarter. Once again, if I can be proven wrong, I'd love to be proven wrong on that because I think it's very, very cool.
You unlock backer inventory items that will change the campaign, trigger exclusive. That's cool. I'm not saying it'll change the entire game, but that's a cool weekly comics challenge. Weekly fan art challenge.
It's just neat.
It's just a great. It's like I said, they're teaming up with a kind of like fan gamers, so this is well thought out here for at least because you have to bridge the Japanese developers with the U.S. market to get this done.
And if there's one company that does video game related stuff in the U.S. that I think does it fantastically, it's Fangamer. They always put out quality shit. So I think that was a good choice on Igarashi's part.
So real quick, you're gonna have your typical Castlevania weapons. You have whips, you have swords, so. No, this is gonna. I do know this is very, very early in development, so we'll see what happens when this comes out. It's not coming out until March 2017. Now you have to wait a while. That's a long wait for a Kickstarter. I mean, it's 2 years now, but if this is going to be a sprawling game, harkening back to those DS era Castlevania games, it'll be worth the wait.
If I can get a physical release, I'll take it, and I do plan on backing it. I will say this though, and this is nothing. It's nothing wrong with this Kickstarter. It's Kickstarter in general. Take my fucking money right away and then refund me if the Kickstarter doesn't go through. I hate the fact that if I back a Kickstarter, I have to continuously make sure that I remove that money from my budget for the next 29 days until they take it from me.
Oh, I mean, it doesn't go through until it ends.
Until it's done. Now, maybe that exposes that I live paycheck to paycheck.
I was going to say, that $25 is really going to be
$60 for the physical edition,
or $28 for digital,
or $100 for the one that I'm actually interested in. But still,
that bothers you that it doesn't get taken out until the end.
Yeah, I always do Kickstarter's last day so that the money gets taken out immediately.
Well, you better set your freaking alarm.
Yeah,
that's all. Else you're gonna have to wait until. Well, you'll still be able to get it, but you won't get the cool, perks.